there is a place for medicine and doctors, and I 100% believe in that. But if we can come alongside that with practices and to help ourselves heal from high blood pressure, autoimmune diseases, sleeping disorders, depression, anxiety, all these things that are really big right now and hurting us and affecting us. But if we can help come alongside that and fix that, I'm so fascinated by this process and how it's helping people kind of take back control of their own life and their own, well-being and wellness journey.
Welcome to Living My Breathless Life podcast. I'm your host, HPG. On season 3 of the podcast, we're diving into the helping profession. I have found that almost always there's a catalytic event that leads people to help others. You'll hear a variety of folks share what they do, why they do it, and the unique ways that they help. This season will mostly be guest interviews with some fascinating people and a few surprises for y'all along the way. So let's go. This is episode 50. Please follow, give us a rating, and a review. On today's episode, I have the pleasure of interviewing Rhonda Ernson. We talk about her journey to learning all about breathwork and a lot of other interesting things she's up to. I had the pleasure of meeting Rhonda at a workshop that I attended as I was invited by one of my cohort members in my life coach training. So Rhonda, tell us about the breath work.
I walked into my own breathwork journey on complete accident. I was doing a spiritual retreat in Sedona, and it was just on my little itinerary. So I go marching in and had one of the most incredible healing experiences. I just had never experienced anything like that. And so, of course, I got interested and curious. And what is this about? And what just happened? I'm not even sure what just went down right there and how that helped me so much. So I began doing the Soma breathwork facilitator training and just learning about how incredible our body is to heal itself. And I know that there is a place for medicine and doctors, and I 100% believe in that. But if we can come alongside that with practices and to help ourselves heal from high blood pressure, autoimmune diseases, sleeping disorders, depression, anxiety, all these things that are really big right now and hurting us and affecting us. But if we can help come alongside that and fix that, I'm so fascinated by this process and how it's helping people kind of take back control of their own life and their own, well-being and wellness journey.
I absolutely love that it was a happy accident.
Yeah.
And then you found such benefit. And then you embarked on your own journey to be a facilitator.
Well, and I just love being in this learning space again. It's such an unknown territory for me. And so every day that I'm showing up for class and learning things and, it's just so fascinating. And I'm just in awe of our bodies. I'm in awe that we truly have a pharmacy inside of ourselves that we can learn to unlock. I don't know. That just never occurred to me that can work. And I personally see the benefits. I've seen the benefits of the people around me that are doing this. And I just, I'm in a place now, I'm like, oh, everybody needs breath work. I mean, everybody can benefit from breath work and it can help them with anything that they need help with. There's a breath work for that.
Tell me a little bit about, you mentioned some of the benefits, but what is breath work and why should we be doing it?
So we live our lives in the sympathetic nervous system, right? We are fight or flight. And for a lot of us, even when we go to bed, our bodies just are having such a hard time turning off, which is causing all this disease and anxiety and depression. And, we need that parasympathetic side of our body. There's a reason it's there, and we need it for the rest, the restore, and the healing to do the amazing things we're doing in our life. So breath work is a hack. It's a hack into your nervous system where you can tell your body, you can get your body to switch. And it's so cool to watch the research and see people hooked up to monitors and literally watch it happen by someone taking control of their breath and intentionally doing rhythmical breathing or breath holds or, all the different breathwork techniques, which date back thousands and thousands of years. We've known they've worked, right? Like we've been doing it forever. But now, because we're so advanced medically, we can do blood tests and put monitors and do oxygen levels and CO2 levels. And now we can prove why with science. And so it's just when you intentionally take over your breathing for a period of time, and it's kind of like exercise. You're not doing this all day, every day, right? You're doing a 20-minute session in the morning when you wake up, maybe a 5-minute session before you go to bed to really hack in to your body's nervous system and switch it into that rest and restore state.
It was a wonderful experience when I went to your workshop. I have had trouble sleeping. I'm a cancer survivor and I had a total hysterectomy, so I'm in menopause. I'm only 43. So my body's been through a lot and I feel like it failed me in a lot of ways, but it also saved my life on the flip of the other coin, the other side of the coin. And in my life coach training, we're learning about how do things feel in your body and how disconnected I am from my body. I think that's in relation to trauma, physical trauma that it experienced, and then emotional trauma. So a lot of cancer survivors take medication to combat reoccurrence. And I say all this to say I've had trouble sleeping for the past 2 years. Well, really my whole life. And when I went to your workshop, I was laying on my couch in my den upstairs and I was like, this is fascinating. This is so fascinating. Like I was just blown away. And that's a hard thing for me. Like I don't get blown away often.
That was me in my first one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife came home and I was like, I just finished this breathing class. That's what I called it, Rhonda. I was like, I went to a breathing class and I feel so relaxed and I slept the best I have slept in years. We have a toddler. So like that in and of itself, like you don't sleep when you have little kids or you don't sleep like you used to. And I was just like, oh my God. And Rhonda, I slept so good.
That makes me so happy to hear. Like, I mean, it just like, that's it, right?
Right.
And because you slept, your body had a chance to heal and restore like it's meant to.
Yes. Yes. I was like relaxed and like cozy and woke up the next morning. I had a lot of energy and it felt like a restorative sleep.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing.
One way people can do that, so let's just say 5 minutes before you go to bed, rhythmical breathing, where it's the same in and the same out, where you breathe in through your nose and you breathe out through your mouth, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. If you just did, say, 10 rounds of that before you go to bed, you've already hacked into your parasympathetic nervous system. You have switched it just by doing that. So imagine if you fall asleep already there, right? You fall asleep with that, you're already got your body to that place. And another hack that I love, because I think panic attacks are, especially after COVID, we've just seen such a huge rise in anxiety. And this is one, and that's anxiety has been definitely a part of my life. Super interesting until I did my Sedona retreat with my breathwork. There's something about this kind of work that works with anxiety. And I've seen it over and over and over again with different people. So if you're in the middle of a panic attack, or let's say you're with someone who's in the middle of a panic attack, and you breathe in through your nose and you hum, it doesn't have to be loud or obnoxious. You just hum out as long as you possibly can. And you do that 5 times. It breaks the monkey mind that's causing the panic attack, and it breaks you into a parasympathetic, and it relaxes your nervous system. And it's kind of the brown bag breathing, right? Of the anxiety attack, but it's that breath restriction, and it works. It works every single time.
Wow.
Yeah. How easy is that?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So give an example of what we do. Say I'm having a panic attack, which I've only had one since I quit drinking, and I still have a lot of anxiety as a human. Say someone is in the middle of a panic attack. When you say hum, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as it sounds. So breathe in through your nose, which gives you all the filters of the air and warming the air and going into your lungs, all the ways that our nose helps us, right? It's an organ that's actually necessary. So you breathe in through your nose, and then you hum like if you were humming a song. But, for me, it's just a solid hum out, just that out. And it can be quiet. Like you can just feel the vibration in your head without it having to be a loud thing, as long as you can. That's kind of the key of it, is that you're restricting your breath so that your CO2 rises, which allows the oxygen to go into your tissues and actually flip you to that parasympathetic side. And then you just breathe when you can't hum out any longer. You breathe in through your nose again, nice and deep, all the way down into your belly, and you do it again. And for most people, honestly, 2 or 3 rounds, you already notice a difference. At 5 rounds, just go back into your normal breathing, and you've just settled that nervous system down and broken that panic attack.
My mind is blown.
And it works. I mean, it's worked for me. I've used it with other people. I used to be a high school teacher, and I think back to my students who had had panic attacks. And I think, man, I wish teachers knew this. That's my mission, right? Like teachers need to know this, because we can help kids, because that's super scary when you're a teenager and you're in that situation.
Yeah. I think this is absolutely wonderful, because it's a simple tool that we can use.
Our body truly is a pharmacy.
After the class, I was laying on the couch and I emailed our mutual friend right away and was like, I have to have Rhonda on the podcast to talk about this, because it left a large impact on me. And as a person who's high stress, and I've always been a little high strung, but as a cancer survivor and a toddler mom, and, I got a lot going on. So it was so impactful of how, like, when you say your body's a pharmacy, like I felt relaxed as if I'd had, an anxiety medication or a sleeping medication, and I had not. And I was like, wow.
Great thing about breath work is it's kind of like running. If you have a bad run, right? Like it didn't feel good, you were just complaining in your head the whole time, your body still physically changed at the end of that run, right? Even if you didn't like it and it wasn't a great run. Breathwork is the same way. Like you can't get it wrong. If you do the breathwork, even if it's 10 minutes a day, you've still physically changed your body, and you get the benefits just by having like the discipline of a practice. It doesn't even have to be great, which is what I love. Like you can't mess it up.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Trying to overcome perfectionism. And after I reflected on our workshop, I was like, have I been breathing wrong for 43 years? And I'm like, no. You just learned a new tool. And what I've kind of taken away from our time together that night, when my daughter's 3, bedtime can kind of get a little wild. And I encourage her to take deep breaths. She doesn't understand like the hold and the breathe out. And I'll say, okay, Piper, let's take a breath. But what I do is I do the hold, hold it for 4 seconds and then breathe out for 4. And I notice doing that when moments are really tense with us, I feel better. And I'm going to add the hum to it.
Yeah.
Because I think that vibrationally can get us where we need to go. That's what it sounds like I'm hearing from you.
Yes. And I feel silly about the hum, right? Like, I mean, it feels silly to me, but I've also realized you can make the vibration in your head without it being like loud and obnoxious. And it's still, that's the part, it's the vibrating and the breath restriction, right? Holding it out as long as you can, that's the part that works. So it doesn't have to be a big dramatic, showy sort of thing, because that embarrasses me personally. It can be just a quiet tool that you can truly do anywhere.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think the listeners are really going to love having a quick reference of anything that calms our anxiety. Because, like you said, like anxiety is at an all time high. We went through as a collective a trauma with the pandemic, and this is great. So, you have a podcast.
I do. Yeah. It's Picking Strawberries with Rhonda Brunson. And on my podcast, it's finding the beauty in every day. I work with survivors of domestic abuse as part of our foundation. And I've just realized there's just beauty in every day. And I'd love to find people that celebrate that. And we chat about that. And yeah, it's just one of those feel good, like what's positive? Like, let's bring the positive and the light.
I love it. So, your podcast is on all major platforms. So, folks can find you at Picking Strawberries. Tell the listeners where we can find you to learn more about your organization working with domestic violence. And if somebody's interested in like connecting with you to talk about this fantastic breath work, where can we find you?
The foundation for the survivors of domestic abuse is the Choose Courage Foundation, and we are breaking the shame, stigma, and silence of domestic abuse. And then for the breath work, actually, our mutual friend Bev and I, we are opening Waypoint Wellness HQ, which will be a whole wellness center in Fort Worth, Texas. But we will have a bunch of online resources and breath work and, workshops and online courses to hopefully reach as many people as we can with these tools that have helped Bev and I so personally on our own journey. I mean, it's self-care, right? Taking care of ourselves. And we want to share it with everyone. So we are launching within the next couple of weeks, the Waypoint Wellness HQ Instagram, and you'll be able to find everything on there, as well as just little tips and tools and tricks. Do you know what I mean? As we go along, as well as the online workshops. And once we get our location open, the in-person workshops.
Awesome. I'll make sure to link all this information in the show notes so folks can find you. I just had such a wonderful experience that night and slept so good that I just had to talk about it. So thank you for being on the show today.
It's a game changer for everyone, which is just, it's like accessible to everyone. And I love that.
It's wonderful. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Living My Breathless Life. Head over to Instagram and follow According to HPG to stay connected to the show. Go get your mammograms.